Piotr, we are live, brother. Can you hear me all good?
Hey, I can hear you fine. How are you doing?
Very well. I just need to
Thanks
turn
for
you up a
having me,
little
man.
bit.
Oh, do you want me to turn me up or do you
Yeah,
need to
if you
turn that up?
can. If you can.
Yeah, I can turn that up. Is
Bang.
that a little bit better?
That's better. Beautiful.
Bang, okay, you let me know because if I'm jumping around screaming, I don't want to blow out your ears.
That's beautiful, mate. How are you?
I'm fantastic. What is it, Tuesday? I've lost all track of time, so I'm constantly looking at the clock and the date and all that. And yeah, I had a pretty busy couple of days, just the start of the week. So very fortunate
You
to
you
have
you
that.
don't stop, do you?
That's basically what my girlfriend says. She says, "Come on, can we do something real?" I'm like, "No, I got to get back in my closet. I got to work. Can we have a real moment?" No. Now's the time to work.
Oh, far out. So you've got your own little booth up at home there.
Yeah, yeah, you can kind of see behind me a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got my little microphone here, and yeah, it was just a little closet that I would audition from, and then once the pandemic hit, it turned into a real deal where had to proof it further and make sure that it was studio ready so that we could continue recording because yeah, the games, they don't stop. They've actually produced more during the COVID because people are able to work from home, and they kind of streamlined it instead of the scheduling process of having you go to a studio, drive in traffic, and all this stuff. So a lot of things been produced.
I gotta say, man, I'm very impressed. Let's just say that with what you can do, and I don't know how you do it. Years of work and training, but your voice and some of the impressions and some of the stuff that you can do is incredible, mate. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So we are. I am gonna have to ask you to do a couple of these as we go
Oh
along.
yeah,
I'm
of
sure they'll
course.
just pop out.
I'm digging your setup, by the way. This is, oh man, is that's, I see Doom, I see Red Dead Redemption.
Yep.
Is that Uncharted? Yes, Uncharted. That's what I see there.
Uncharted, God of War, bottom
God
there.
of War. That's, yes,
Yeah.
they're on the boat there. Yeah.
I need it.
Now what
I
are
need
those
it. I got a
figures?
Doom Eternal. Doom sent me
Oh
this chair.
yes.
Um,
Hell yeah. And his shirt. Come on, man.
yeah, and I got a statue off here as well. I'm a big fan. I mean,
Nice. It's a sweet game. It's insane.
oh, such a great game. Did you know it was going to be this good? Because I know you were in the first one as well for a couple of voices.
I I had no concept because they yeah, initially they had nothing developed. It was basically Hugo Martin telling me, we want you, because I did several roles. So let me back up.
Yeah.
Originally, I was brought in to be kind of the voice of the demon Bible Necromonicon or whatever it's called. And they said
Yeah.
we were looking for a demon voice, so I auditioned with several things. And the last option that I gave them, I think I gave them three voices. The last option I gave them was super cartoony and crazy. I was like, they will never choose this voice, but I'm just going to put it on for fun. And that was the voice that they chose. And they said, we wanted that hard rock metal demon that you did at the end of your audition because that's what we remember growing up. I'm like, now at the fifth gate, you will die. And so I did that, just for fun because I was like, I don't know what other demon voice you can do beyond what I did. And that's the one they chose. And it was the worst voice to do because you sit through a session doing that voice, your voice blows out after 10 minutes.
Really?
Well, it's really hard to do. And they had me reading, because you go around the game and you highlight these glyphs and they pop up and the voice basically bellows out the history of the Doomslayer. And it's like a Bible. And they just
So do you mind doing the interview in that voice the whole time from now on? That'll be fine for you.
Yeah, yeah, and then I'll lose my voice after 10 minutes.
It's really great to be here, and yeah.
Man, that voice is so cool. I don't know how you do it. It's so deep.
Froggy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because, one voice leads to another. So you do that one, and then you're like, yeah, I can kind of hit that, and it goes over.
I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that with, was it Steve Buscemi and...
Austin Powers?
Austin Powers, yeah.
Yeah. I
Oh.
mean, it was basically me in the shower, and I said, hey, what would Austin Powers sound like without his British accent. Yeah, baby, very shagadelic. Ooh. Everybody was doing the Austin Powers in the 90s and early 2000s, and so I started doing the voice like, yeah, baby, get rid of the British accent, and he sounds a little weird. And wait a minute, it's Mike Myers, right? But you got to get rid of that Canadian accent, and then you got, wait a minute, the teeth placement is weird. If I make the voice a little bit higher, but keep the teeth there, it kind of sounds like a pretty cartoony Steve Buscemi.
Far out. Honestly.
And, it's just about playing, It's like with music and instruments, you don't know until you get there. You just got to play around and
but I've seen
do that.
So you got started on YouTube doing voice impressions and things like that, didn't you?
I wouldn't say I got started on YouTube. I would say I first started sharing things publicly on YouTube. But because I always found that odd for people to say, "You're a YouTuber." You're a YouTuber.
It's not like
no,
that.
No, I'm a content creator. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And YouTube just happened to be what was available. But yeah, I would say 2006, 2007 is when I first started releasing some impressions just for fun, and they got attention, and I think YouTube featured them on the front page at some point, and kind of blew up a little bit, and one thing led to another, and now I am the voice that vibrates your T-shirt.
So now you've been doing it for 15 years now. Do you?
Yeah.
Is the imposter syndrome
sure.
gone now? The confidence is up, and you know what you can
Oh,
achieve?
yeah. I mean, you're always going to have a certain lack of confidence, just based on however your personality is. But me, I'm very riddled with, mild anxiety, so I'll always feel that I'm inadequate. But I think that's good because that always leads me to perfecting a voice or performance, and then after the fact, if somebody says, "Wow, you did a really great job," I go, "I guess I did," because I put in a lot of work to make sure that fit and that that felt good for me. Because I believe I'm my harshest critic. So when I read YouTube comments like, "Look at that baby-faced idiot, oh, stupid voice, that didn't sound like him," I'll laugh and say, "You're right, it didn't sound like him," and I'm the first one to know that. So don't worry, haters. I'm going to hate harder than you.
Yeah, I feel like there would be a few haters when it comes to doing impressions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's, always.
Yeah. So what about...
You're either going to get people who are very particular, like they say, "That didn't sound exactly like that person." But like, that's not what an impression is. Or they'll say, "That was good, but it wasn't funny." So it's just...
You can't win.
Whatever.
You can't win.
Yeah, no. And I'm sure people are saying, like, "It's too bright on your face when I watch your podcast." I'm like, well, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
Listen to it.
Look at me. This is how you get rid of the wrinkles, hey?
Of course. You look beautiful.
I need some of that natural light. That's how I get out of the sun every day. Far out. So Call of Duty, how did that get started? Because you've been in a couple. You're obviously Victor Reznov. But a lot of my audience obviously would know you from being Hudson.
Yes, Call of Duty is a massive, massive franchise. So anybody in the voiceover world eventually will audition for some role. Like side characters, background characters, NPCs, characters who are... Because it's such a massive world that they create. And so I think probably got started early on in voiceover. I can't specify the year, 2010, sometime around then, where I became some background soldier, Russian soldier, and the more I got roles on there, they kind of got to know me. And so when it came around to voice matching an existing character, that was something more specific, where they said, "We're going to look at people who are known for voice matching." And so they sent out the Gary Oldman character, Victor Reznov. But I had no idea who he was. They gave me nothing. It was totally blind. Wow. Where they said, "Here's a voice, match it." And I said, "What's the project?" They said, "We can't tell you. We can't tell you who the original actor is." So I just listened to it and then matched it as best as I could. And then they said, "Okay, this is who you are." And once we got into the booth and we started performing, then they said, "Okay, don't feel bad. You should change it up just a little bit because, you're obviously not Gary Oldman. We don't want to have any legal issues and all that stuff. I don't know the specifics, but basically they kind of let me, veer a little bit off to just kind of let it carry on the spirit rather than being exact Gary Oldman, Victor Reznov, because, that's absolutely doable, but then also just it brings up a lot of weird issues for them, and they just want to make it easy.
It would. So you did the mocap for Hudson?
I did, yeah. So for the cinematic scenes, I think for the general scenes, they may have had just their standard crew. But yeah, for the cinematic scenes, for sure, the table, the getting smacked in the face. I think there was another big scene. But yeah, no, it was great because I got to be on set.
With Ronald Reagan, that scene?
Yes. Yeah. Who's incredible.
What's the bet you could do that voice as well?
I did do that voice for another game.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it was recently called Mobius 83, where Ronald Reagan was there and he was talking about that sort of thing. But I think if you don't have a Ronald Reagan in you, then you're probably not an impersonator.
Oh, really? It's one of the staples, is it?
One of the staples of the 80s, for sure.
I think you got to have a Kermit the Frog. That's the key.
Well, yes, of course, you have to do Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog is, wait a minute, hi-ho, I've got a Muppets t-shirt at this very moment.
There you go. Muppets, Beatles. Yeah, like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember one of the biggest comments I'd get I would do Ray Romano, and the YouTubers would be like, sounds like Kermit the Frog. And I'm like, oh, okay, well.
He kind of does sound like Kermit the Frog. I mean, Ray Romano, he's this guy. He's larger than life. Yeah, come on, hey, what are you gonna expect?
Kermit
the Frog is a little bit higher and a little bit happier. And I'm depressed, and I like my life.
I can imagine you walking around and your girlfriend doesn't know which character she's gonna get each day.
Oh, that stopped pretty quick.
Oh, really?
Yes. She's just like, what are you doing? No, it's mostly we have a lot of cats, and so I give the cats voices, and she's kind of carried that on as well. So she doesn't mind that when I'm giving the cats voices and that sort of thing. But no, if it's an annoying voice, she doesn't like it.
Do you reckon there's an impression or a voice that you haven't quite nailed yet that you're working on?
Well, there always is. I have trouble with kind of the more vanilla sounding voices.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say bland because it's just more neutral sounding because that's harder to do. Your natural voice would have to just be very similar to them.
Yeah.
So that's always hard for me when someone says, "Hey, can you do Dwayne The Rock Johnson?" I'd be like, I mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson kind of sounds like President Obama, and so you can find the hook and make it cartoony and that sort of thing, but then it doesn't really sound exactly like that person.
Yeah.
But so I would say some of the more modern guys, the action stars, they're a little bit harder to do, because they just feel a little bland to me. And also it's harder for me to do an impression of somebody I'm not interested in. So if their personality
I know what you mean.
It's just like, why am I going to spend time? But I can tell you every day, it's my job. They'll send me a voice to match, and I'll have 15 minutes to submit it. They'll be like, hey, we need this in half an hour. Here's the voice, and I'll listen to it and go, all right.
But that would be a more niche segment of the business, voice matching. There wouldn't be that many people with a skill like that. I wouldn't have thought.
They definitely wouldn't waste too much time trying to get 200 submissions in. So I think they would have a 2 dozen, 2 dozen or more people where they would say, hey, these are guys who have booked a lot of voice matches in the past. Let's see what they could do. Or they'll just say, hey, this person we're trying to match has an interesting accent. Let's go to the actors with range and dialect experience and then see what they can pull out.
Like, would a Brock Baker be one of those, would you think?
Oh, Brock Baker, the actor. I was thinking, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely voice matches for sure. He's in town, yeah.
Yeah. Zombity says, "How long have you been?
Zombies.
How long have you been in voice acting for, and what inspired you to do so?"
Great question. Let's see. Well, I studied, or I grew up watching cartoons and animation, and my father actually got his film degree in animation. So I grew up with a lot of animation material around the house, books and cartoons, and he raised us all in Disney, and so I wanted to be an artist and an animator, and just by osmosis, watching so many cartoons and references and things like that, I found that I did enjoy the process that the actors went through. And so, long story short, I basically went from studying animation into college, wanted to be an artist, and I found that I had more of a knack and ability to do performative art. And so I started focusing on voices, and I would say probably 13, 14 is when I realized that not everybody could do what I could do. Because I just assumed, everybody does silly voices.
Not
but
to
around
this level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed normal to me. But 13, 14, I was like, okay, I'm the only guy around junior high who's walking around talking like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Great Scott, buddy, on a fire. People are like, what's going on with this guy?
Great movie.
Yeah,
What a classic.
fantastic. Of course, buddy. I actually live in Pasadena, which is very near to the Gamble House, which is the original exterior shot of Doc Brown's house.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. I love to drive past there and be like, great Scott, buddy, that's where I live. That's where I hid my DeLorean.
He was in a movie I watched the other day, popped up, called Nobody, with Bob Odenkirk.
Oh, who does he play in that? I want to see
He's
that.
the dad, but he's like a badass that like just shoots people with a shotgun.
You take the shotgun and shoot her in the eye. Don't run out of time. Well, he's what is he? He's in his 80s now, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I did not expect him to pop up in that movie. That's for sure.
That's fun.
So yeah, and you've loved it ever since. I mean, this is what. Yeah.
I mean, it was always just for fun, and then I took it seriously going into college, where I got a little microphone. I started studying, radio and professional equipment, like working at the university DJ room. We had a local radio station, and I would just go on there and talk to myself because I couldn't get any guests. It was before podcasting. So I would call in as myself. But the weird thing would be like nobody cared about who I was doing because I love old voices and old characters, and so I would call in.
They're not relevant enough.
Right,
Yeah.
they're not. And I would call in as Peter Falk, like, well, it looks like me that you got this radio station going on here. What the hell's your problem? Why is nobody listening to you? And I'd be like,
That's
wow,
good. That's
Falk,
very
it's great
good.
talking to you. That's fantastic. I've been dead for 25 years.
Fuck, that's good.
And so that was I think I had 3 listeners at most. But
start?
No, yeah. to
One of
start.
them was Mum.
No.
Oh.
One of them was probably just me with the other laptop open. But yeah, from college, I started realizing like, okay, this is enjoyable. I'm gonna push through, and then I had some videos on YouTube that kind of went viral, and so a lot of people were interested in me. And then I auditioned for Saturday Night Live when I was 20, I think.
Wow.
They said, hey, you do all these impressions coming out. And after I auditioned for that, I didn't get the show, but they passed my tape around. Everybody at SNL said, who's this guy? We never heard of him because he's not from L.A. I was living in Hawaii at the time. My parents
Oh, wow.
had us relocate there. They're artists. They're not military or anything. And they just wanted to live in paradise. And so I knew nothing about the industry. And all these people, like, they're drooling because they're like, it's new, fresh talent. Let's bring him to L.A. And so I decided to take the plunge and went to LA. But before I did, I went to England, and I studied there
London?
for a year. I lived in Colchester in Essex.
Oh, nice.
So everybody talk like this, and they're like, "Hey, you from America? That's cool. Hey, say something American. Say something American. Say something funny American. Say French fries in American. French fries. That's fucking hilarious."
Now I
Sorry,
know
we're
where you got your Michael Caine from, hey?
Well, you're Michael Caine, of course. Of course, you're Michael Caine. Gosh, he's older now, so he's got a little grit in his voice, and yes, of course. She was only 16 years old, Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
And I love British voices. I went to Tesco. I don't know if you have Tesco in Australia. But they,
I don't think so.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. It's just a UK brand. And I went there. It's just a supermarket. And in line in Essex, they're like, "How you doing, love? Okay, just ringing up here. Okay, got some yogurt and some cheese and some marmalade. All the typical things of a college student." And I was like, I'm gonna impress this lady with my British accent. So I basically did like a Ian McKellen impression. I just,
My dear lady, I do appreciate your time. And please, may I sign up for a Tesco card?
If I close my eyes, I feel like I'm with Ian
You
himself.
fucking git. Who the hell are you?
like she
That's
just like
great.
she thought I was an alien, and I was like, oh, I can't do this accent because this is posh. Nobody talks like this anywhere in England.
Far out. That's unbelievable. So do you think YouTube helped your career? Like, would you say it's a tool that you can use to help?
Definitely, of course.
Yeah.
It was a great platform because it was instant feedback. You know, you could get people to say things, and first thing I did was I would delete videos if I got comments that I started realizing like, oh no, that isn't a good product. I don't want that out there. I kind of want to get rid of it. And so it did put me on my toes. It helped me become a better producer. I would, add graphics and video, editing skills got better and that sort of thing. So it's a great tool. It still is. I mean, I think you're streaming now on YouTube. People tune in. It works. Yeah, you can definitely jump. But what I did was I didn't focus on YouTube specifically. I kind of veered off from it and focused on studying acting, working, and getting work. Whereas people I know like Brock Baker, who's fabulous, stayed on YouTube and he stayed with the YouTube audience and said, let me see how far I can take this. Let me try my humor. And he's done great. And he's been a professional voice actor for a while. So, it's to each their own. For me, I go off and on it every once in a while, but it's a.
So
great
you think
platform.
it is a viable path in that industry, or if you've got the talent, it can help?
It's a good way to get noticed.
Yeah.
As far as holding your content library, where you're like, hey,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna point some people here and they can see what I can do. And I don't know now. I can't speak now to say that if you go on YouTube, you release your stuff, you'll get whatever. Because when I first did it, there weren't many people sharing
That's
voices.
when it first came out. Yeah.
And now, if you just search in voice impression, it used to be me and Brock Baker, and nobody else. And then it turned into a couple more people and more people. And now you just type in voice impressionist on YouTube. Not many videos of mine are even going to pop up. It's going to be thousands of people from all over the world doing things. So now it's probably a little tougher. And for me,
the quality stands out, I think. From
of
YouTube.
course.
Yeah,
I think so. If people notice, they'll keep watching and that sort of thing.
So do you play the games that you're in? Are you much of a gamer yourself, mate?
I am, but I'm a little older generation. I still have a Wii U.
Oh, right.
And so when it comes to playing games, I'm like, I don't have time.
I know.
I got to get to work. What I do is I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching the videos and people playing because I can live vicariously through that going, I know what it feels like to play a game. I just don't have the time and commitment to invest in all of this and to keep gaming hardcore. But I love to. I game on PC. So I have... I like building and simulation games, so I'll play games where I can build things and control things. So I wonder if, psychologically speaking, I just like to control people's lives.
Like Flight Simulator or what? Like The Sims?
No, like what is it? Like Jurassic World Evolution, where you get to build a park, Planet Coaster. You build your own theme park and roller
Oh,
coasters.
yeah.
Like that. And then my younger brother turned me on to Portal, and
Nice.
that's an old game, but that's an incredible game. And the No Man's Sky I've been playing a lot of, which is
How's that these days?
it's great because it's they keep adding to the game. And for me, it's like a meditative type game where it's like it's quiet, it's open world. You're not really having action come at you. You have to kind of seek out,
Chill
things.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if you got an hour or two just to relax, and that's my vibe. But I do have more action-oriented games that I love, but don't really play them as much. My girlfriend and I, we just unboxed a bunch of things from storage, and she has like a Sega, Super Sega 32X. She has a old NES. She's got a PS1, and then she has
The classics.
yeah, she's got some old stuff, and we were unboxing. I'm like, holy shit, this stuff is great.
Wow.
And then I found on the Sega 32 Doom. We actually have Doom, so I'm like, I'm gonna go on the original Doom and play that.
Wow. That's cool. So World of Warcraft was your first booked gig? Is that right or not? In terms of a video game?
In video games, I let me see.
Back in 2004. That's what I've got here.
Yeah, I mean, if it on IMDb, it's not absolutely accurate, so I can't say.
Okay.
But I would say that was probably one of the first bigger games for sure. I may have done some other games that were uncredited or independent games, but
There's a
yeah,
lot of that,
I would
isn't
say
there?
World of Warcraft would probably be one of the bigger ones.
I might go through some of your list here and you can give us your because there's so much to talk about. So I'll just roll through it.
Mm-hmm.
Darksiders 2. What do you remember from that? I think it's a nice little game.
That one was
Blade Master.
okay. There you go, Blade Master. What was he? He was kind of he was like the mission giver in the game.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you go up to him, and he basically, I don't even remember what voice I did, but he's just like, yo,
Welcome. Here's your sword. Take it outside. Do something with it. Sharpen it, but don't get killed, you bloody bastard.
I don't know what he sounded like, but probably something in that vein. I swear I can't recall.
Oh, I have to give you a bit of lenience because you've done so much.
Yeah,
voice
that's the
work.
problem. Is
Yeah.
I love when I see these actors who come on and they'll channel all these voices, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're just doing your own voice, but kind of just dark and brooding. It's like here.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I'm Soldier 7. Here I'm Hero 9. Here I'm the Wizard of Darkland. Here I'm the Frightened Criminal. Like, okay, you're lucky you could do that. I can't remember. If I hear a reference, then I can carry on to it. But because I just do so many,
funny.
so I'm like, Jesus Christ, what did I do?
So you've had a lot of work as Joe Biden. Is that a bit of fun?
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun for sure.
Let me tell you something. Our country, there's a lot of change happening. Our country needs to change in a way that makes change changing. That's a change that we change, and we change changers. Change.
Because he's kind of a hard one to do, and
man.
during the debates before he was elected, everybody was like, trying to hook onto the nominees, and one of the front runners was
Bernie Sanders, of course. Bernie Sanders was, this type of guy with this voice, and a lot easier to impersonate and a lot more
my
fun
God.
to do.
And then when Joe Biden won, everybody's like, he's boring. What does he sound like? And so I just started
You swooped in.
listening. Yeah, I started listening and repeating, and got as close as I could, and very lucky to do Joe Biden. I've done him on Jimmy Kimmel, and there's a puppet show called Let's Be Real. Where I
Yeah.
do Joe Biden.
What's that like for Jimmy Kimmel? What's the back workings of that like? Do you do it from home? Do you go in? What?
It's
How does that work?
the turnaround time is very fast.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of last
that
minute
day?
changes. Sometimes that day,
Yeah.
yes. Because something will happen in the news and they'll say we need this, we need that. And before the pandemic, you'd usually show up at the studio and you could record in person there, and you would just sit on a couch and they would show it to Jimmy Kimmel because he's just running from meeting to meeting, prepping, recording skits. I don't know what he's doing. And then he comes by, he listens to the bit, and he goes, "Oh, that's funny. I wish he said this line as well." And then they're like, "Okay, get back in the booth," and then you record. So he's very hands-on. He approves everything.
Well, that's good.
But now with the pandemic, yeah, it's a lot from home, where they just send you a script and direct you over the phone, and you send it in, and then they just put it in. But yeah, sometimes they'll have you show up on set, and now they do some deep fake stuff where they'll actually just use an actor who looks like the person you're impersonating, like hairstyle and face, or I mean, like body shape, and then they'll just have that person lip sync to your voice, and then so that they put the deep fake on top of there, and then it looks like the celebrity is there. It's pretty crazy.
That's a ways way of going about it,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's an interesting way to do it. So, and you also did the voice in Conan as well. Conan show.
Oh yeah.
or-
I did Joe Biden as well for Conan. Yeah, and I asked them. I said, "Are we allowed to do this? Because I'm on Jimmy Kimmel doing Joe Biden." They're like, "We don't care. Do you care?" I'm like, "I don't care. How much money are you paying again?" No, it's kind of like, hey, if you become the guy for presidential, celebrity, then everybody will be asking for you. My buddy John D. Domenico is the quintessential Trump impersonator, and he's been that for I think maybe 6-7 years, maybe more, and he's still doing Trump now, and we're doing projects together all the time, and because Joe Biden will call Trump and all this stuff.
Hey, Trump, baby, what are you up to? There's a lot of things the White House has been overturned. There's cockroaches. There's dirty dishes. Where do I put the dishes if the dishwasher's always closed? What do I do?
But you do Trump as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do a version of Trump. My Trump is more of the whiny podium Trump.
Let me tell you something, people. All you people are really mean. You're mean. You're so terrible. You're so nasty. Very nasty. And I don't like it. I'm going to go hide in Mar-a-Lago and I'm going to sleep. But when I wake up, you all better be very nice.
You're making me work because I do timestamps on the video after, so there's going to be about 50 different characters
Oh, shit.
timestamped.
Okay, I'll stop.
No, please keep going. Keep going. I love it. So then Mad TV is another one that you've done a lot of stuff
yes.
on. What's that
Yeah.
like?
Well, that's incredible because they did a reboot. They wanted to try and see if they could bring the sketch series back, and I don't know if it didn't survive because it was just on not the appropriate channel or the right time. It was just a strange circumstance, but it was a really fun experience. A lot of funny comedians got on there, and we got to work with the original crew from Mad TV. A lot of the behind-the-scenes people, makeup and directors, as well as some of the star cast came back to kind of be the hosts of each episode. And I became the impressions guy on that show. So I would do whoever they needed. I think we did Jeff Goldblum for Mad TV. Yes, they had made makeup and wasn't as pudgy, but still, because of Jeff Goldblum, very handsome. We did a sketch where Jeff Goldblum just talked about hot dogs for 4 minutes straight. Hot dogs come in an 8-pack, but hot dog buns come in a 6-pack. 2 left over. What are you gonna do? You're gonna put the double hot dog, double buns, a foot long. Yes, hanging out the sides. We don't know, but of course, not gonna eat them. A vegetarian, Jeff Goldblum. Got to remember these celebrity facts.
Far. Yeah, you're a vegan as well, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had meat products since 2010, maybe.
Have you noticed a difference since then?
For sure. Definitely not having
Do you feel lighter?
skin,
Do you
skin
feel
issues.
what's
I mean, you can still eat bad food if you're vegan. I mean,
Yeah, I know, but
this is bad food. So you've got to watch out eating cookies and ice cream and all that stuff. Especially now, there's so many options. But in the beginning, yeah, it was easier to maintain a slim figure because there weren't many options available. But no, for example, like my girlfriend, when she had suffered from a lot of migraine issues, and she was vegetarian, but when she became vegan, she didn't think about it. She just became she didn't think about the correlation between migraines and dairy. And when she became vegan, she's like, well, I'm not going to eat any more dairy. And suddenly her migraines were gone.
it's funny you
And
say
she
that. It's the
started
same for my
re-
girlfriend. She
she
gave
started
up
doing
dairy.
research, and she's
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that's what's been causing headaches. And if you think about it, you do some research, you're like, why are we drinking out of a udder? It's weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool now that there's just a lot more information out there, and I'm a really strong proponent of science and facts and making sure, not to fall into bullshit, and so I'm not some religious zealot. I'm like facts and evolution based, where I'm like, how do we as a society,
How do we as a society?
sustain ourselves if we keep eating this way? And reality is we can't. We're all screwed up. But
Have you
this has
seen the
become a
Seaspiracy?
very exciting podcast, hasn't it? All your listeners were like,
Have you seen the Seaspiracy Netflix doc? I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't.
No.
I mean, I used to watch a bunch of those documentaries early on, and they're pretty gruesome. If you've never watched anything like that, please watch it. And it'll be very informative, but it'll be very depressing. But hopefully, it inspires you to make some type of change. I can't watch it now because I know what they're going to show.
It's
know
just
what
depressing for me. I
there.
can't watch
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Overwatch, that must have been a thrill doing that short.
Oh,
I
that was
love the world of
fabulous.
Overwatch. Yeah.
Yes, I got to work with Darren DePaul and the Blizzard team there, and I knew nothing about Overwatch,
Really?
nothing.
Wow.
And I think it's probably because I haven't really been active in games every day,
Yeah.
and playing them. I mean, and now I'm much more attuned, where I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure to see what games are coming out and stay up to date and that sort of thing, even though I don't play them as much. So I treated the performance just like a performance. I wasn't going, this has the weight of the world on my shoulders. I gotta make this game or this character really good. I just said, no, I gotta do the best performance I can for this moment in this scene at this time. And it was a great session. I think it was like over 7 hours. We did a lot of improvisation. We did a lot of like talking back and forth. Darren DePaul and I were just talking to each other as ourselves, and then getting into these characters, and then finally inhabiting them, and then going behind the microphone after I think 3 hours of us just prepping. Then we started performing. It was a really, really interesting experience because you don't do that in voiceover. Normally you get a script and you're like, all right, go. All right, we're done. It was like, no, you're doing theater. We're going to do theater all day today. And that
That's
gets
awesome.
you in the zone, and you really you no longer think about you performing. You are performing. You're just there. You're working with the characters. And so that process, from what I've heard from Darren DePaul, was rare even for him with Overwatch. And I think it was because they wanted to really have the highest quality possible for Overwatch shorts. And I think it speaks for itself. Those shorts are all amazing. You can watch them now, and they should be nominated for Academy Awards. They're incredible.
That's what I say.
They're
They're that
like,
good.
Move over, Pixar. Come on, You're like people were messaging me. They were telling me Darren DePaul, all the Blizzard team would send me messages, be like, people are crying watching this thing. They're
It's just
crying,
unreal.
because it's like they invest so much in these characters, and then they hear the backstory of Reinhardt, and they're like, wow, this is deep and heavy, and they, then they love the character even more.
Yeah, obviously Darren DePaul plays Reinhardt in Overwatch. I would love to get him on as well. He sounds like a really nice guy.
He's a fabulous guy. I
Yeah.
think he'd be down to do it. He's great.
Yeah, 100%. So how was that? Just a day shoot, that one?
That one was, yeah, I believe it was a day. Maybe we did
Wow.
some pickups and that sort of thing. But that's not typical. Usually we do, 3-4 hours for a voice session, and then we move on. But I think because it was a short, they really wanted to
So
work it.
is it weird for you? Like, do you ever get the chance to bounce off other people, like, in person? Or is it
Yeah,
always...
of course.
You do?
Yes, it depends on the project and the show. Usually, it's animated shows that you'll get the opportunity to work with. Excuse me, I'm getting a lot of air bubbles. Sorry, that was a real burp. That's a fake one. That's a projected one. Okay. So usually, animated shows you will get the opportunity to work with other people back and forth.
Okay.
Or the director will embody the character that you're speaking to, because it is harder to read a line and then not get a response from somebody and then go into the next line, and to have that emotional shift change inorganically. It's absolutely doable, but to get a much more believable performance, yeah, the director will inhabit the body of the character.
But it must be more fun when you have people to bounce off. Like,
Yeah,
and it
of
must
course.
produce a better outcome, I would have thought.
Yeah, well, I did The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. They did a reboot show on Amazon Prime, and I played Fearless Leader, who was the evil kind of German, Eastern European bad guy of the boss of Boris Badenov and Natasha. And in the original series, he was just kind of one of these kind of guys, like, you, Rocky and Bullwinkle, we'll find a way to get rid of them. And when we did the show, they said, we want to amp him up. And so he became really crazy. I'm going to turn down my levels really quick so we don't blow out the...
But he was basically this crazy guy who would talk like this.
And I have toys of him somewhere. And so we would record those as a full ensemble with the cast. So, like, Rocky, hey, I hope that one day we could fly over that gorge.
Oh, damn you, moose and squirrel!
Oh, darling, it looks to me that they're going in the wrong direction.
That's probably because we gave them the rocket that make them spin around. Oh, Rocky.
Oh, Bullwinkle.
I don't know how to do all
I don't
those
know.
voices.
How are you doing this?
That's why they
brother?
cast other people.
How the fuck are you doing this?
There's a little robot button I press, and then...
Unbelievable. Really is. Rage 2. Angus Groovy, Gatherer, and Oasis Civilian. What do you remember of those three?
Well, I think those... I don't know. I think those are all NPCs. I think was just brought in to just do some voices. Cause,
Yeah, exactly.
They knew that I could do it. And I did some characters. But I think there's a really fun character who's basically a brain in a jar.
Yeah.
What are the names again?
Oasis Civilian, Gatherer, Angus Groovy.
Angus Groovy. I don't know the name. It was like a doctor or something. And it's like a secret mission. I know what it was called. If you YouTube later, or your fans can search for it.
Yeah.
It's called Secret Elon Musk Mission Rage 2. And you go
Really?
into this bunker. Yeah. You go into this bunker, and I play the brain of some genius. But it's spoiler alert.
Wow.
That was the spoiler. You go through this hall, and he's going like, "No, don't come here. how dare you get out of my bunker, or whatever the hell he was saying. And then
That's cool.
at the end, it's revealed that he's just this little brain floating around, and he was trying to scare off you. And you realize, like, oh, you can't hurt me. You're just a floating brain. He's like, no, leave me alone. That's all I can remember from that session.
Yeah.
When was that? 2015?
20 Rage 2. Well, it came out in 2019, but I'm guessing you did it 2018.
Yeah, probably recorded 2017, 2018.
Yeah. And that would have been just a one-dayer. There's a lot of guys that I talk to, guys and girls, do a lot of these one-day sessions.
Yeah.
They come in, do a couple of voices because you're
Usually,
also
if
versatile.
Yeah, if you're doing non-playable characters, side characters, they'll have you do 3-4 characters, and they'll say, you'll usually audition and you'll book the one guy, let's say the mayor of a town or something.
Welcome to Rage Town, and here at Rage Town, we make sure that you're enraged with rage. Rage, rage, rage.
That's word for word exactly what I said in the game. And then after you book that role, you go in and they say, well, we have 3 other characters for you. We know that you have the range. Why don't you play with it? Do your normal voice. Use your normal voice and play this character. And then do this character and change it up. And for example, like in The Outer Worlds, I played Phineas Wells.
Yeah. Great game.
And super awesome game and really funny. And
great writing.
In addition to that, I'm the first character you hear, Phineas Wells, and then I'm the first character you interact with once you get on to the planet, but it's just me. I'm like this little kid who's like wounded, and he's like, hey, do you have a med kit? Oh, man, my arm really hurts. And I had no idea that was the case, so when I watched the game, I'm watching this, and, Phineas Wells said, well, you got to get down to the planet, and then it's me, and then you go down to the planet, and then you talk to me again. It's so stupid and weird.
But that's what makes it so funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing and really fun to do. I'm very lucky to be able to just have fun and do this. I don't think I've ever had a session where I didn't have fun.
Oh, no.
So very lucky.
Family Guy, couple of voices there. What's that production like? I mean, that's a mammoth production, surely.
That is like a factory. So
Yeah.
they are streamlined because they've been doing it for 10, 15 years now. They've
got it to a T.
They know what they're doing, so they don't need to cut corners. They basically they bring you in, you have the character that you audition for or what have you, and then you record the line, and then you're on your way. Your session is 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, because it's usually the cutoff. The little scene is just like, hey, it wouldn't be funny if Mel Gibson ate a bag of beans and fell down the stairs, and then suddenly there'd be a clip of Mel Gibson, eating a bag of beans and going, they would have those cutaways. And so that's usually where they would bring in an impersonator to do a specific celebrity if they wanted a cutaway joke and that sort of thing. So you've been
a few cutaways.
Yeah. I can't remember who for sure.
You Gandalf?
I did Gandalf for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think I did Austin Powers as a keychain. And then probably 3 or 4 other.
Police captain, sergeant.
I don't. Yeah, I have no memory of this at all.
Really?
So, well, I mean, no specific character where I'm like,
yeah, right.
What I did. I like Gandalf, of course, but I think the side characters and stuff. Yeah.
Is it a thrill though? Like, because I know you were doing impressions of Stewie and Peter Griffin 12, 13 years ago. The videos are up on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And now you're in the show. Years later.
It's pretty insane, especially for like I remember one of the first things I did for Conan was actually a Joe Biden thing before it was during the Obama years, and they're like, we're looking for Joe Biden because he was running for vice president or something, and he says, I don't specifically endorse this message. It was where he does his mixed up speech and he was endorsing his own ad, and they had me come in to do Conan, and so I sat in the green room, which is like the waiting area at the show, and Conan comes in, Andy Richter is there, and I'm like, I watch these guys on TV all the time. This is so weird. So weird. Then you realize, no, they're just heightened personalities. They're just like anybody else. They just happen to have been put into this position where they're on camera and they're on. You know, you're a different personality when you're on camera. Hey, isn't that great? Wow. Okay, that's cool. So it's that energy level isn't too far from what anyone is capable of doing, but it's just experience. The more you do it, the more you're better at it. So it's interesting knowing that, because now when you meet people, especially with voiceover, you'll run into people all the time. I'll run into a voice of SpongeBob, Tom Kenny, and I'm like, my girlfriend grew up watching SpongeBob, and I'm like, I just hung out with SpongeBob for a day. Oh my God, this is awesome. And then after you meet him for the 20th time, you're like, oh, hey SpongeBob. You know, it just becomes normal.
Hey
because,
Tom. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Tom, how's it going? It's just, you know, and we're all just trying to get through this. We're all just going. So it's the best job in the world, because you can hang out with fun people and just play.
Is that a gig you'd want? A long-standing gig where you're the character for 20 years? Is that something that you strive to?
I don't know if 20 years, but I mean, sure, of course. I would love to be on a show where I could just showcase my range and constantly do something different. Because that's what I love about voiceovers. Like, I'm very distracted. I don't like to get locked in on one thing. If I can do a slew of characters, that's all I love. So I love when auditions come in, because I'm like, I'll have 10 auditions, and I could easily do 3 voices, because they're all separate projects. I could just do 3 voices for these 10 characters, because they're all different projects.
Yeah.
No one would be the wiser. But I go and treat it like I've got to do a different voice for every single one of these characters. Even though they're unrelated projects, I'm just going to make sure, just for me, because I love it.
That's
just want
awesome.
to do that because it's fun.
Yeah.
And so it gives me the most joy when I can just stretch and play. But yeah, I would love to be on a show like Futurama or, you know, The Simpsons, that sort of thing, Family Guy, where you go and you can just sustain these characters and grow with them and explore and play. Because that's the freedom. That's great.
A lot of people here love Phineas and Outer Worlds. I've got to tell you. I didn't know people loved it. There you go. The chat loved that game. I was going to say, it gets a bit hot in the booth, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just had to put something out the door. My girlfriend was like, I need something. I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm just texting her real quick. This is live, people. Life is boring.
I was going to say that you must get sweaty. It's a little bit of a workout in there,
What
surely.
are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing. Yeah, it gets hot in the booth because there's no AC, or you know, the microphones are sensitive. They'll just pick it up. I have a fan I could turn on, but that'll be annoying people.
What mic do you use, by the way, for anyone out there that?
Oh,
what's a good mic you think for getting started, and then for professional level one that you've got now?
Well, for getting started, I would probably go for a USB microphone, just for simplicity, because you can just plug and play. Let's see. There's a microphone called the Hype mic by Apogee. I used that as my mobile mic, so when I would be in my car, I wouldn't have time to get back to my studio. I would just record onto this Apogee mic, and then I think the newer one that they came out is the Hype mic, which I have now, and I still use for mobile auditions because the quality is really good.
Wow.
It's a USB mic. I can basically take it to a hotel room and have on par quality as long as I isolated the sound with a booth. So it's not too bad. It's pretty darn good. And I think that's, you know, like under $250.
Yep.
Something like that.
Entry
but
level.
The microphone I use now is called Studio Projects C1 microphone. It was kind of I don't know if it's exactly a knockoff brand, but it was to challenge the Neumann U87, and one of my favorite voice actors and idols is Corey Burton, and he suggested to many people, if you want that sound that's close to a Neumann U87, get a C1 mic from.
Is that the
Studio
one we're
Projects.
hearing now?
That is, yeah.
Wow.
And it's relatively cheap. I don't think they make it anymore, so I actually got a refurbished one.
So I'm gonna have to
And-
steal yours. Yeah.
You're gonna have to steal mine. Let me give you my address. It's one.
Wow, you're very, very accommodating.
Hey, whatever you need. You got a social security number? I just want to make this easy for you. Whatever you need. This microphone I just got as a way to audition. And then the more I used it, the more I realized I'm like, no, this is actually a pretty good microphone. And so all of the sessions I've had the past 3-4 years have been off of this mic. And I haven't had any complaints.
What do you think of is it the Shure mics? I hear that word.
I
a
don't
lot.
have experience with them, but
No.
I know Shure is a good brand, so I wouldn't
are,
say I wouldn't say they're bad. I would say that's fine. But the reality is now that technology, there's so many competing companies. See, I need a script when I speak because I can't speak normally. There's so many competing companies that that now the quality level is so high. You know, especially now with COVID, they're like, oh shit, we need to make some mics affordable for people because they're all on Zoom. They want to sound good. They're streaming and all this stuff. So it's relatively easy to get some good working microphones. But I know Rode, I think a Rode NT1, I believe.
I think that's the one I've got now. Yeah, Rode.
Yeah. That one's really good. You sound great on that. It really is. I think it's more of a it's a price point. If you spend between $200-$300, you'll get a pretty workable microphone. I think if you're going for a
50 to
microphone
100, it's not going to be.
yeah, it's just not going to be that level of quality. You can use it to audition, use it to podcast, use it to practice with, which I highly encourage people to do. You know, if you're interested in voiceover, don't think that what you're doing is ready. You know, you have to act. Number one, it's all acting. It's not being able to do a silly voice. I fell into that trap where I said I could do any voice in the world, and then they'd give me a script, and I'm like, I can't do this voice when it needs to do this because I didn't have the experience with acting. So I said, oh shoot, I better practice more and study, and acting became more of the forefront of what I was after and achieving. And then when I said, okay, I've got my Rolodex of characters, now that I can act better, I can access these characters. And then I'd start booking more. And I said, well, that's what it was all along. It's you can have two voices, you can have one voice, but if you're a brilliant actor, you can start working.
And again, it's more you got to have the talent over the equipment, really, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
You can have all the gear and no idea. Is what I
you'll
say.
hear people all the time say that you have to get the best microphone, all that stuff. And the truth of the matter is, if you book the job off of your phone, the company will send you a microphone because they want you. They're like, this person is so good. We don't care. Just here's this microphone for this project. And that's what they're doing during the pandemic is they will send off microphones that they prefer sometimes to people because I'll send them a sample of my microphone and they go, oh no, yours sounds fine. But if it didn't, they would just send a studio ready mic and they'd help you set it up and you'd have a little portable booth at home just sent from the company because they just want you on the project.
Yeah, 100%. Bill and Ted. I only watched the first few movies last year. I had never seen them, believe it or not. And then you did a voice match in that as Rufus.
I did George Carlin for that.
Greetings, my excellent friends. This is George Carlin, and I'm up in heaven. And boy, does it suck. It's terrible because I get to look down at you fucking idiots. You're all fucking the earth up. That's right. You're taking garbage and you're stuffing it up your own asses. Why do you do that? Nobody knows because you're all fucking idiots.
We're allowed to swear on here, right?
No, we're not. No, of course. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
And it's just, I did like a very short thing. He does an appearance as a hologram because they wanted to honor his character, and they had just a couple of lines that I did. But it was fun that I was able to do that, and you know, you hear it on the big screen. That was pretty crazy.
Did you work on Incredibles too?
I did.
Inferno said, how Inferno says, how did it feel to work on Incredibles 2?
That one was kind of like you kind of fanboy out.
Yeah.
I was freaking out because Incredibles, the first one, as a kid watching that was like Pixar quality with superheroes. There wasn't a superhero movie, if you think about it. There wasn't a superhero movie before that, live action, that was that fast-paced, that fun. That was like Marvel energy superhero movie, if you think about it.
100% right. Yeah.
Because
that was
comedy,
2004.
there's action. There wasn't anything like that. Spider-Man with Sam Raimi,
Still a bit dark.
Maybe,
still a
but
bit
it was pretty dark. It was
Yeah.
carrying over some of the Tim Burton vibes.
Yeah.
And so that was really one of the first ones where like, you can make a funny superhero movie. And it was before its time because 10 years later then superhero movies exploded. That's
Wow.
why they did the sequel. And so when they had auditions to do that, they basically had, they have their main cast, but then they said we have all these additional voices that we need. They had other superhero characters and things like that. And so I auditioned. And they brought me in, and you basically go into a room with, I think we had 15 other actors, and they'd bring you in one by one, and you would do as many characters as Brad Bird wanted you to do. And then you'd go out, and then you would not know at all if you
How
were even
many?
in the film.
Wow.
Because he would just have whoever was there just do all the voices. So you're basically like, you got the job, you're getting paid, but then you're auditioning again in person. So it's kind of weird. And so in that case, I was under the impression that I was the voice of a certain character, and then when the movie came out, I wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was still in a Pixar movie. And I still have, you can hear my voices in there, it's fine, but I was kind of like, oh, well, I guess I'm not the character that I thought I was. But the experience was incredible. Pun intended, incredible.
Yeah, I didn't see. I didn't even.
Look
I
at
didn't
that.
even get that. That's how smart I am.
What time is it over there?
It's 8 a.m. So you got to
Okay,
cut
look
me
at
some
that.
slack, all right?
Yeah, sorry.
What about Soul? An amazing movie that
So
came
that
out. That
was-
was my probably second or first favorite movie of last year.
That's an amazing film. That process was the same thing where they said,
Yeah.
okay, we want you to come in and do a bunch of voices. And so they had a bunch of international characters. I think if you recall in the film, they go to the Limbo Land or whatever it was, and all the characters weren't American. They were all kind of international dialects, very interesting sounding voices, and so they were looking for people. And so I originally got Nicholas Copernicus, who's Polish, and so they said, well, we liked your audition. If you can do Nicholas Copernicus, that would be great. So I did that. And I said, okay, well, at least in the movie I'll have this little walk-on character. And then Pete Docter said, okay, since we're all here, could you do some additional characters? And I said, oh, this is the same thing like The Incredibles. I have no idea if I'm going to get any of my characters in. So I do as many characters as I can. It's a really fun environment. People laugh. People, cheer you on. If you have an idea, they let you play and experiment. Then the movie comes out. I have no idea what I booked. I watched the movie, and there's like 6 of my characters in the movie.
Wow.
Like I'm in the whole movie.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, what the? Like I'm watching. I'm like, it should be
It's
called
me.
Soul, starring me. I'm a lot of the characters in the Heaven Realm, and then
That's
like,
so cool.
It was pretty fun to see that, and it took me out of the movie. So I got to watch the movie again and just enjoy it, because the whole time I was like, what? That was me. That was me. Did you hear that? That was me. But if you think about it, me in 2007 on YouTube watching Pixar movies, and then
Full circle.
2021 getting into Pixar movies, it's humbling, and it's incredible.
So hold on. So let me get this straight. You've been in Pixar movies, probably the greatest animated studios ever. You've been in Call of Duty, big blockbuster games, Doom Eternal, some of the best-selling franchises. You've been in Family Guy. What's left? You've done it all.
I'm running for president next.
That's pretty impressive. I'll tell you, man, it's pretty impressive stuff.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm very lucky, and I think it really is because of my ability and range that I've been able to stay afloat. You know, because when opportunities come around, I'm like, well, I'll throw my hat in that ring and see what happens because I can do that. I've got the range and ability, so I'm very, very lucky to do that.
So you're not stopping on the video games? We can expect to hear more of you soon?
There's some more. I just recorded some Call of Duty stuff. No, we're not allowed to talk about anything, but I'll just say that it's such a huge franchise. There is something else happening. So,
Love it.
well, there's always something happening with Call of Duty.
Love it.
I know somebody asked me. They said, "Are we going to get a skin of Hudson for multiplayer?" And I don't know if we're gonna get that. I honestly do not know. I can't say that that's going to happen. So fingers crossed, or just start a Kickstarter campaign. Send me the money, of course, but try and get people's attention to put Jason Hudson's skins in there.
Well, I love
some people want to play as him, which is always.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. I love what you do with the character though. Like with
Incoming
Hudson.
grenade! Damn it, Adler. Let me show you how it's done.
Can you imagine him running around?
Here's my knife.
Like he just runs around with a knife, or no, it's just a pen. It's just like a CIA pen with the little dart pen, or he just walks.
Get down! You idiot.
I feel like that voice would be harder doing those lines, the battle chatter. You know what I mean?
They are, because sometimes you can get out of character, and the director, because I do the CIA announcer for multiplayer, where
You do?
yeah.
What's that voice?
It's just Jason Hudson.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if
okay.
if you play, I think if you play as a CIA op in the multiplayer, then you can hear CIA announcer basically saying,
RTB, incoming missile, all
Oh,
those
you're
lines.
right. Yeah,
while you're playing.
You're 100%
And I think it's over comms, so it might be distorted. But yeah, that's me doing Hudson as a CIA announcer.
Because I got nothing to do.
So he's paying attention to everybody. So yeah, when we were recording some of those lines, I would get a little too hot, and the director Amanda Wyatt would be like, "Well, let's tone it down because, getting a little too, separate
out of it,
from his character," which isn't necessarily bad. It's just like they want to keep it, recognizable and that sort of thing. So it's always like they got to make sure that it's in the same playing field.
Well, it must be weird because you got Ed Harris and you've got
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, who have played this character. But hopefully, this is it now. You're the man going forward.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. You never know where they'll say, you know what, Matthew McConaughey wants to play Hudson.
All right. Hey, now, Adler, let me tell you something. I want you to get there, and I want you to get that bomb. Get that bomb, make it a big bomb explosion all over Stalingrad. Ha, ha, ha.
What? Hudson, what happened?
I played the bongos, took my shirt off. That's what I look like without my glasses, man. I am stoned all the time. 24/7 stoned.
You got to have a Matthew, don't you, in your arsenal?
Of course,
if
you've
you're,
got to.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant. Damon Victor Allen's actually in the chat, a co-star of yours.
Man.
Yes,
he says,
God
Piotr,
damn it, Woods.
Piotr is such a talent, so much fun to work with, and a hell of a guy. You boys are crushing it. Great interview, Dan.
Thank you, Damon.
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 What was it like to work with all those guys over there?
Well, it was incredible because we could actually perform together. Like, it's not typical to be collaborating and have a scene and in voiceover, but because it's motion capture, it is like a black box theater play where you are on a stage, a sound stage, and you have to interact with these guys because they want to get the real believable performance, and they need the physicality behind it because we will grab each other, we'll interact with each other, we'll hit and kick and scream and all that stuff. So they want that realism there. And I got to meet everybody: Lily, Reggie, Damon, and Damon, and of course Bruce Thomas, who's he says he's Adler, but he's really Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
He comes in and he's like, it's Bruce Wayne. He really gives off that vibe. He's such a cool motherfucker.
I reckon he is.
But
the seat, he's got a back cave somewhere.
And what's so fun is to see everybody turn on their performances, because you focus on your own role when you get on stage and you do this, but when you see everybody else tune in, because we're all talking in between, we're all relaxed,
and then they go,
and then cameras rolling, then they tune in, and you're like, oh shit, Bruce Thomas is a scary dude, all right, we're gonna go out there. And he's got it's so funny because with motion capture, normal things that you do every day have to be augmented and changed on stage because otherwise it'll interfere with the sensors. So like drinking a cup of tea.
It's like this, yeah?
Yeah, so it's like...
yeah.
And so you'd see like Bruce Thomas with a pen, and he'd be, pretending to smoke his cigar, and he'd be like... And you're like, what the hell's... And you're like, oh, no. You got to get into the zone. This is serious. And then you get Jeff Bergman, who's amazing. Jeff Bergman is an incredible guy. He's the voice of Bugs Bunny and Looney Tunes. He's in the new Space Jam as Bugs Bunny. I don't know why I'm doing Bugs Bunny. And Jeff Bergman played Ronald Reagan. So he comes on as Ronald Reagan, and everybody, there's the one opening scene where they're all in the briefing, and Jeff Bergman sits down, and he doesn't look like Reagan. None of us look like anybody. I think Bruce is probably the
closest, yeah.
Bruce, Lily, and of course Reggie. Reggie is basically a carbon copy.
Okay, Reggie number one. Yeah.
Reggie, they're like, he's so good looking, we got to make him the character. But so because we all look different, and Jeff Bergman comes on, and he doesn't look like Reagan at all. And he sits down, and he's in this motion capture suit. And it's awkward when you're wearing the motion capture suit. You can't help but you have to get into the zone. Otherwise, you'll just laugh your ass off because you all look like, little babies in these, like you're wearing these weird, like,
I hope it's not cold that day, yeah?
Oh, they turn up the AC so you're freezing in there.
Oh, of course.
Lots of hard nipples, mine most especially. But Jeff Bergman comes out, and he does his Ronald Reagan, and you're like, holy shit. Like, I do Ronald Reagan okay, but Jeff Bergman doing Ronald Reagan, he's also, I think, 10, 15 years older than me. No, he's got to be 15 or 20. And so he's got more gravitas, he's got more of the timbre, he's got that huskiness that he can bring from age in his voice. And so when he does Ronald Reagan, it's like, whoa, it's Ronald Reagan. So every time he'd do it, it would, like, set the scene. We're like, oh, this is really happening.
Yeah.
Here comes Ronald Reagan, the President of the United States. And so that was really a lot of fun to do because interacting with people there. And then the great thing was they have the technology to show us the working scene. So they would bring up the cinematics after we kind of did a rough performance, and you could see kind of the characters moving around. And then I think we did a couple of additional filming days where they brought the working cinematic, and all of our jaws dropped. We're like, what the fuck? Like, the high quality of these CGI characters are there, and you can recognize your own performances because it's
as in the movements of the face.
Oh yeah, and you're like, you can see yourself in there. It's so bizarre, but it's just like, wow, this is
even
cool.
Subtle things with the face they pick up, don't they? Yeah. Is it weird doing a character that's because obviously when I put this out, people were like, he's not bald, he's not 20 years older. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. And
doing Hudson.
It's always going to be the thing, especially for me because I have a range and I do characters that are outside of my own voice. I don't think I've ever used my own voice only for a few things, like that Outer Worlds character. They're like, hey, just do your own voice for that guy. You're so weaselly and annoying. You'll be perfect. And I said, what? And they said, action. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'll always transform and become another character, but I love it because that's the equivalent of me putting on a costume is changing my voice and becoming a different character. So I did for a while. I did some commercial stuff. I did commercials for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We have Universal Studios here in LA, and so for the local commercials, they wanted somebody to be basically like a wizard voice.
And so I did The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, now open at Universal Studios. Buy your park tickets and passes online.
And they had me do that. I auditioned, get there, and they go, "Ooh, are you the assistant? Where's your dad?"
Really?
Like, yeah.
No, they did not.
And I
You're
come in,
exaggerating.
so then I have to. No, yeah, and then so I have to come behind the microphone and I go,
The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, now open at Universal Studios. And I'll do a bunch of older characters all the time.
and it's funny because probably at least a quarter to a half of the characters I book are old British white guys all the time.
So I love it all the time. I get to play these old British people, and it's a lot of fun.
But you add a comedy to it, I think, because you've got a bit of a comedy background.
I
don't you?
mean,
You've got like
Yeah,
stand
but
up.
you've got to tone it back a little bit because you don't want that.
We're doing a serious role and that sort of thing. You need
Yeah.
you need to get grounded and that sort of thing. I did some
Looping, which is dubbing over another actor. I did some stuff for Ian McKellen because he wasn't able to do some yells and some little efforts and things like that.
And I come in and I do say, Ian McKellen, and you have to get serious because he's doing a serious movie, and this could be up for an Oscar, so you can't screw up his performance.
And so he was like getting hit and smacked and running around and all this stuff, and I was going, and you laugh. It's funny, but you have to take it seriously because it's like, would he really sound like that when he's getting punched or screamed? Because they don't want to hurt the actors and that sort of thing, so they get professionals who have the experience to yell and jump around and do all that stuff. That's a whole other world, the ADR community, where you come in and you're dubbing actors and celebrities. And I probably, ruined Ian McKellen's career now because everybody knows he didn't do all of his yells and screams.
So
it wasn't
you
Lord
did.
of the Rings.
If
it was,
anyone asks, you did all these
older
efforts
project.
in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
You shall not pass.
No, it was for some spy movie or something. I don't know.
Oh boy. Question for you: did you take any inspiration from Ed Harris or Michael Keaton? More one than the other? That's from TCB.
I think, we based a little bit more off of Ed Harris's performance for sure, because he originated it. To tell you the truth, I don't think I listened to Michael Keaton's performance at all.
Oh wow.
Originally they sent the audition like Victor Reznov, where they didn't tell me who it was or what was going on. They said, "You're basically a guy in the CIA."
And you wouldn't know it was Call of Duty either.
No.
would you? No. Yeah.
They just give you a code word. They're like, "This is pretzel pants," and you're like, "What?" So you have no idea what the project is, and so like you'll be auditioning for the role of Bob, and you're like, "Okay, Bob," and they play you a reference, and then I would match the character, and then after we got the character, they said, "Okay, well now we want to separate a little bit from what was established because we don't want it to be an exact carbon copy and that sort of thing." And the nerve-wracking thing was that, this is an established character, so when the game comes out, you don't know how the fans are going to react. And so hopefully people like it and continue to like it. I've only had positive feedback, which is great. I'm sure there's negative thoughts out there, which to each his own. I'm sure you raised on the character and you love it. But
honestly, I covered the game extensively.
Alive, they do have to evolve and that sort of thing.
I covered the game extensively. I haven't seen one negative comment about.
Oh well, that's great. I mean, it's
Hudson.
one of the highest grossing games of this last, I think, 2020.
Unbelievable how they still pump them out every year, and they seem to get more sales each and every year.
Yeah.
But the quality's there. The quality's there. So
yeah.
Was this your first mocap, or had you done it before?
I did some facial motion capture before where they just put the dots on your face and you're in the booth, but I didn't do full motion capture. So yeah, this was the
Wow.
first time
Yeah.
actually putting on a suit and then walking around and doing that. And traditionally, they seek out talent who have on-camera experience because that's basically what you're doing. You're doing an on-camera performance.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And so they got a lot of TV actors to do it. Sometimes movie actors. You know, they had Ed Harris and these guys. So
Kid Harington,
I knew I had to make sure to keep my game up because you're performing with these people who are active professionals on camera. And I've done things on camera, but mostly comedic things. And so you really have to chime in and get serious and make sure that you are grounded, authentic, and real when you deliver these lines, because you're batting up against heavy hitters.
Yeah, 100%. I'll give you a couple more before I let you go. I know you're a busy man, mate.
Yeah, I really have to pee. So any of the questions? Have you seen how much water I've been drinking?
At least you're honest. At least you're honest.
Of course. Why not? Why wouldn't I be?
Any advice for people wanting to get into this game?
Yeah. This game?
As in, get into this game of voice acting and acting. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Specifically Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I would say first and foremost, if you enjoy performing, if you enjoy the act of being in the view of the public, if you like to perform, then you're halfway there. Don't feel that sounding silly with the voices is your key in. It's not. There are thousands upon thousands of people who can do silly voices. You can talk to some guy at a bar who will do incredible impressions of Looney Tunes, but when you get in front of a microphone, when you're asked to perform, they're not going to be able to sustain that character. So if you want to get into this, I would highly recommend taking acting classes, workshops, learning the acting side of it before focusing on voiceover. Because if you're just this guy learning how to talk really good into a microphone, you're not going to get anywhere. Or you're going to waste a lot of time, because I certainly did. You focus on acting. And over time, you'll realize your range and your abilities and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, stretch and play. Start off with your own voice. Ask friends that you know and say, who do I sound like? Who do I look like? Because if you're going to on camera. But who do I sound like? People are like, you kind of sound like this guy. You kind of sound like that guy. And then listen to yourself. Record yourself and play yourself back. What I would do is record yourself, listen to yourself later in the afternoon and be like, with fresh ears, just go, okay. Criticizing my own voice, I kind of sound like that. Interesting. From there, you could say, well, that celebrity I know kind of sounds like me if he was higher pitched. That celebrity kind of sounds like me if he was lower pitched. I think I can get those guys. One character will lead to another, like I was showing with the Austin Powers goes to Steve Buscemi. In the beginning, I could only do like 10 characters. I thought I could only do 10 characters. Then the more I played with it, the more I realized that no. There's millions of characters out there. It's endless. It's just being able to have access to those tools in your wheelhouse. So you have to practice. A quick tip on how to do impressions. Like I said, find people that sound similar to you already, so you're already halfway there. You don't have to do much. You just change things. But watch videotape and study mannerisms, because voiceover is one thing to sound like them, but acting is physically embodying a persona. And I would
doing
watch
the mouth movements and I know
right,
what
of
you mean.
course.
Yeah.
So if you watch, like, for example, Robert De Niro, he scrunches up his nose, so already you sound weird. Now you just over-exaggerate it. You sound weird, right? Right? Now you add a New York accent, okay? And remember that he's tough. So a tough guy, what does a tough guy do? He barely talks. A tough guy is going to be there brooding. He's not going to be giving monologues. So he's going to, what are you talking about, right? And then he's a little bit deeper because he was smoking cigarettes, right? But he's always annoyed at people.
Oh, that's good. That's
And
good.
it's breathing. He got punched a couple times in the face. I don't know, with he boxed or something. And sometimes the physicality behind some of these guys, And if you watch yourself through it, and if you're just getting the facial thing down,
Wow.
you don't have to do anything. You just breathe.
That's spot on, man. Far out.
And so just studying, you
Yeah.
go. And then when you go in for the audition, they're like, we're looking for Robert De Niro type. You're like, I can do an impression of Robert De Niro. I'll do that. And then I'm going to shift it. So
Robert De Niro, but maybe he's a little bit fatter, right? And now he's got this kind of guy. And he's going to be, hey, guys, you're joining the mafia. What is your problem here, huh? What do all you guys keep bothering me?
So suddenly you have a new character, and all you did was you just took something that you already knew you could do.
And adjusted.
That leads to another. You just make adjustments and you move around. And
I love that,
yes.
man. That's
Yeah.
really great advice.
And you can send money to my Venmo, which is PIOTR.
PayPal him after the
Yeah,
show.
come on.
Hey?
This isn't free.
No, mate. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, brother. I
My
really
pleasure
appreciate your
as well.
time.
Yeah,
Um,
this is fun.
I'd be remiss if I didn't get you to do a couple of voices for me here before I let you go. So I'm going to rattle off a couple, and you can talk to Dan in these voices. Is that all right?
All right, I'll
right.
try and remember.
You try
who
your
they are.
best. Yeah. Al Pacino talking to Dan.
Al Pacino, let me tell you something, Dan. It is a pleasure to be here talking to you down under. Now, down under, do the toilets really flush the other way? Or is that bullshit? Because I heard that you hit the tanker and bow! Your shit goes in another direction.
Chris Walken.
Gotta say, when I was thinking about Australia, I thought they'd have Marmite. Turns out they've only got Vegemite. Why? I like Marmite on my toast. It's very bitter. It's tasty. Vegemite, it's kind of like the bastard cousin. Not so wow.
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime says, roll out and find another voice, because I haven't done this one in a long time.
David Letterman.
David, there's, of course, David Letterman as the, it's, I've been in retirement for a couple of years now, and I'm shaved now, but it's I grew a beard.
I'm stretching you here. Morgan Freeman.
Are you crazy? I can't do Morgan. Okay, hold on a second.
This is the voice of God. No, it's just Morgan Freeman. That's right. I know Piotr Michael, and I just happen to be in the same booth at the same time. But of course, I'm also covering the camera because the PC culture is going to whip my ass into shape once they realize I'm just a white boy.
What happened? What was going on?
Wow, did he jump in? That's amazing.
I don't know. That was crazy. Thanks, Morgan.
And last one, Hudson to Dan.
Hudson, I've got a special assignment for you. I want you to shave your beard off. And your head. God damn it, how can you be a soldier on the streets if you just look like a hoodlum?
He should just roast people all the time.
Doom, where the hell's my poster?
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. I really, really appreciate your time. Fantastic. Is there anything you can announce or anything you can point us to in the future, or just look out for you in upcoming projects?
I would say I've got the puppet show Let's Be Real, where I played Joe
Yep.
Biden. We are filming additional episodes of that will be coming. I don't know if that's international. It is American, so that'll be on Fox.
There's always a
coming up.
VPN.
There you go. That should be later this month or April, I believe. I mean May.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got like 3, 4, 5 video games coming out. I can't say anything about anything, but all different projects, all
Good
fun
stuff.
characters. Serious one, a very sci-fi based one, one all based in the head. So a little teaser, a little secret for you to all get excited about. And
Big games? Are these big titles?
yes, big time.
Ooh, all right.
So yeah, if you
Can't
definitely
wait.
stay in touch with me, I'll announce those on my Twitter.
Yeah, so
and
you got Twitter and IG, Instagram.
Yes, I do. Twitter
Piotr
is,
Michael.
Yeah, Piotr Piotr Michael for Twitter, I believe, and then no, that's Instagram, and then Twitter is PIOTR_Michael for the tweets. You could just go to my website and it has all the links to it. So PIOTRMichael.com. Piotr
Yeah,
Michael.
I've got it in the description as well, guys. So
Yeah,
you can
well,
go
thank
over
you. I
there.
appreciate that. Yeah, because
yeah.
that would be great to get in touch with fans too. And I also have posters of Hudson if people want that. I'm happy to sign and send those off. Just
Awesome.
get in touch with me. Yeah.
You got a cameo or no? Not yet.
No, I haven't started Cameo. I should probably do that because people like that.
I think you'd be inundated if you had a cameo with requests.
Well, let's see if I get requests now. So yeah, I'm happy if people want that. Send me a message.
Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate your time. I have to get you back for some of these big
Yes.
games once they release. Hey.
Oh yeah. You'll find out.
Ooh, all right, mate. Have a great night.
You
Appreciate
too.
your time.
You too. Thank you very much.
Take
Stay
care,
healthy.
man. You too.
Take care. Bye bye.